Hi everyone, welcome back to our channel. We're back with another review video. This time we're going to discuss the 7 finalists of Luxembourg Song Contest 2025. Joining me today are Joe, Isaac, and David. Guys, how did you see this year's contest? And is it any better or is it maybe any worse than last year's?
I
Dead
think it's
silent.
I think it's about the same overall. In my opinion, there's a standout winner, which I didn't feel was true last year.
Mhm.
But besides that, I think the quality is about the same. It's not bad. Yeah, interested to see what it's going to be like live.
I'd say the general quality is slightly better than last year, but I'm just really disappointed that they've gone for the same gamut of last year of like just, you know, I mean a load of the artists are the same as well, which kind of so I can see why you say there is kind of a similarity with last year because like loads of them just haven't left, but like which I will get onto, but like yeah, a lot of them are imported. You can tell that a lot of them are like not particularly authentic. There's not a lot of heart to a lot of the songs. Like, they I think a lot of them are bought in again. So yeah.
Brutal. I think it's a fair enough set of songs. To be fair,
Mhm.
it's for a small country. I know GDP, etc. is huge, but yeah, no, it's still all okay. It's very Eurovision you decide kind of quality, I would say. The UK's old national final where it was kind of 6 songs from the songwriting camp, and every year there'd maybe be one, maybe two that are quite good. Um, but it's a bit like throwing a dart at a board and hoping it lands right. I think that's their strategy this year,
Yeah.
last year.
I don't know. For me, it's overall like it's slightly better than it was last year. And I personally I enjoy more songs in this year's selection than it was last year. But like yeah, we'll get to it in a bit. Let's start our review with Rafa Ela, one of the two comeback acts. She's competing this year alone with the song No Thank You. Joe, what did you think about this one?
I mean, honestly, like, I can't help but think that the two returning acts, who, by the way, I think I'm still a little bit residually drunk from the party that the Grand Duchy laid on after the show last year. It was very good, and like I can't help but think that poor Rafa Ela and One Last Time vowed that they would never do it again, and then looked at their phones the following day and oh no, we've applied for next year. What are we going to do? To be fair to Rafa Ela, this is a big improvement from her song last year. I was have again, it's fairly standard songwriting camp fare. I had a look at the history of some of these guys. One of them co-wrote "This Is the Night" by Kurt Kaledja, famous for one of the worst sung bridges in Eurovision history, and it still got to the final. So maybe she'll do the same. You can absolutely tell it's sort of cut from the Scandinavian rule book. It kind of reminded me a bit of like the party anthem that Tone Sekelius did last year, like a few years ago at Mello. Slightly demo like horns in the chorus do distract a bit from the quality. But we know she can sing live. It's a huge improvement from last year, and I think she'll throw the kitchen sink at this. And she had a bit of involvement in writing the song as well, which is always a bonus.
Yeah, I think I would agree with that pretty much. It's definitely one of the better songs in this selection, and I think this is better than what she had last year. I think the problem is it's just quite generic. This could kind of come from any country. It doesn't really have like any sort of national identity about it. The lyrics, sort of stuff we've heard 1,000 times before. It's very much like a cheaper version of Fuego. And I think we already know what the staging is going to be. It's going to sort of fit that sort of generic classic. Should be there, and a couple of backing dancers will come, and it'll be sort of fire and yeah. I'm not that excited to see how it looks because I think I know how it will look. But as you say, it's a better song than what she had last year. It's one of the best offerings we have here. I do enjoy listening to it. I just wish it was a little bit more unique.
Joe, let's put that into points out of 10.
For me, it's a 6.
Okay, now Joe.
For me, it's a 7.
It's a 7 for me as well. David?
Down the middle, I give it a 5.
All right, Rafa Ela got 25. Another act coming back, it's One Last Time with Gambler Song. Now, if you watched last year's review video, then you might be aware that they were by far my favorites, and I was actually super excited to see them back again this year. And even though I sort of expected like an even more powerful song to Devil in the Detail, I got still like a pretty damn good pop dance song, and I'm definitely not disappointed. It doesn't really reach the level of Devil in the Detail for me, but that doesn't change the fact that this is a fantastic song, and I can't wait to see what they actually do on stage with this. I spoke to them. You're going to see an interview coming up very shortly as well. So we might get some hints there. Yeah, I expect a good show, and it's quite a good song.
Okay, where do I go from there? So One Last Time. Maybe this is the last year, or maybe they'll be back again next year. Who knows? This song isn't as good as the song last year, and to be fair, the song last year was maybe a 6 out of 10. It was okay. This year, I don't get the enthusiasm. I don't share that at all, I'm afraid. It's I think it's just the lyrics. I'm a real kind of wordsmith, right? So when I look at songs and I listen to music, I focus more on the lyrics than I focus on the musicality and the instrumentation, to be honest. And some of those lyrics are honestly unforgivable. Is probably the only thing I could say. So I think that's my blocker, my mental blocker. But I think that they will give a really good live show performance like they did last year. They're clearly a band that you would go to a show of theirs if you were a fan, and it would be good, right? They're clearly good on stage. They're very comfortable on stage. He has a good voice, so I'm sure it'll be a fine performance. But the song for me, some of those lyrics need to go. It's not.
It smacks of a Danish songwriting camp trying to write the Ace of Spades.
Come on.
My opinion. Well, there's literally an a cappella bit in the middle where he's just naming numbers. Like, come on.
Well, Mäna has already done that this year.
And bless them, they're lovely guys as well. And I hate to, like, it's just ironic that they're called One Last Time.
I'll kick off the voting with an 8. David?
Yeah, I'll give it a 4 out of 10.
Isaac?
6.
Joe?
5 for the Danes.
All right. Next up, we're going to discuss Lara Thorn and her song La poupée monte le son. David?
Yeah, sure. So well, Isaac talked about there being one standout right this year. And for me, this is the song that is the standout. It, for its faults, does sound a lot like a French Junior Eurovision winner. So, I mean,
that's literally the note I had.
Not if I was saying it was a French Junior Eurovision 7th placer, it would perhaps be a bit more of an insult. But it sounds like one of the winners, right? If you put that into a Junior Eurovision, it would probably do very well for France, like they always do. I don't have any issues with a junior sounding song being in the real contest as long as it's a good one. And for me, this, as I said, is the standout. I think it's probably the only song this year that could have challenged Tally last year if we compete, all songs competed together. I think it's a clever play on the words, play on obviously France Girls song in the past for the anniversary. I think it's got a lovely melody. I like that it builds and it ebbs and flows and takes you on a bit of a journey throughout the song, which we're seeing more and more now in Eurovision, right? It's never very rarely is it verse, chorus, middle eight, chorus anymore. It's all kind of about different tempos, different styles of fusions pulled together. And I think this does it quite well. I think it all builds up to a nice kind of climax. And if she can sing it live, I think it could be a really good performance. And I think it will probably be enough to get them back into the final, to be honest, this year.
Yeah, I completely agree with everything you said. Copy and paste it. It does sound like a Junior Eurovision winner. But I don't think that's a bad thing because Junior Eurovision, sometimes the songs in that are better than what you get at actual Eurovision. Yeah, I think this is the clear winner. I don't think anything else is in contention, to be honest. this is one of my favorite songs of the year so far. It's really strong. I think it's really interesting within each verse and chorus and the bridge. There are various different things that happen, like the beat sort of changes. There's various elements that are added and then taken away. She's got the high notes at the end. I think this is a really strong entry. It's really catchy. Admittedly, saying la 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 in the chorus might not be the best choice to get votes, particularly with a jury, maybe. But yeah, this one feels like it has an identity as well, which lots of the others lack. It feels like a lot of them have lyrics that were written by AI. Like, I don't know, most of these songs have lyrics that make no sense to me, but when you read this one, it's nice. And like you say, the throwback is good. Yeah, I think this is really good.
I think one of the strengths is that they're musical theatre writers, so they're kind of used to writing everything all over the place and it lasting about 4 hours. So yeah.
Out of 10, David.
My favorite, but it's still only a 7 for me.
Isaac.
I'm gonna go 9.
Joe.
I do want to rank it high. It's really clever, but the na 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 chorus, I just cannot get on board. It's too junior. I ranked it a 7.
I'm going to be the cautious one here then for this one. I'm going to give this a 6.
Sorry, Joe, the way that you introduced that score, I was expecting you to give it like a 1. And then you said 7. I was like, oh, okay.
No, I genuinely, like, on paper, this should be the kind of thing that I give a 10 to, but I just can't get on board with that. The chorus just kills it for me.
Well, Laura is in the lead currently with 29 points. Well, let's continue with 0.5 and their song Ride. Joe.
Sorry, that is also my score for this song. Spoiler.
0.5.
I didn't even recognize that connection. I could have made so many jokes about that. Right. So, well, I mean, you already know what I'm going to say about this one. So let's just rattle through. This one's got about 32 writer credits to its name. So you know it's not going to be an absolute classic from the start. And then as soon as I heard that intro with the clapping, I thought, oh my God, here we go again. We're in another Centre Parks advert. We've got Lumineers wannabes with their banjos and the violins, and they go, oh, in the chorus. And it's like, oh my God, this is like, it's every cliche for that sort of Mumford and Sons-esque folk song that absolutely grates on me. But I will tell you one thing about this song. Because there are so many writers, they have a really diverse range of national final songs that they've worked on. We have alumni from everything from Elsie Bay's Death of Us to Tuvaya's Blir ag Mai Pukarn, which I don't know if you remember that from MGP 2021, the farmers who looked like they were on community service. I think it's an absolute classic. It is such a good song. And now they demean themselves with this. It's, I could, you know, this kind of song has its audience, but like in my mind, I just want the guy, I want Jay, who edits Gabe Milne's videos, I want him to edit this song over the top of the Centre Parks advert because I think, or just like a tourism board advert, because I think it would absolutely go. That's the only purpose of this song. I'm sorry.
See, I didn't take such a deep dive into everything like Joe did, and I just let myself enjoy the music here. Because for me, when I was listening to this was just like a bomb of happiness. The country or rodeo feel that it brought, just like, I don't know, put a smile on my face and, I don't know, fix my mood in a way. I don't think anyone literally would expect something like this coming from Luxembourg in Eurovision. And should it somehow end up winning Luxembourg Song Contest, I don't know why, but I have a feeling it would be all right in Switzerland as well. Kind of resembles Firelights Coming Home from like back in 2014. Sorry, Joe. This is, in my view, this is just like so much better. I did enjoy it.
Cool. I just remembered that song beat the icon Debbie Pin the Middle.
It did. 0.5 out of 10 then. Joe.
0.5 out of 10. It's not a 0.5, but it is a 2. I'm really sorry.
For me, this is a 7. David?
This is a song for straight people, so I'm sort of disappointed that I kind of do like it myself. But so I'm going to give it a 6.
Isaac?
It's weird because I agree with Joe's comments, but I agree with Ervin's score. I give it 7.
That
So,
probably explains everything, David.
a song for straight people.
It's a song for straight people. Imagine that.
Next up, we have Rhythmic Soulwave with Stronger. David.
Yeah, so I am going to contradict myself here because I said that Laura Thorn was the clear standout. And on first listen, it definitely was just a Laura Thorn competition. All the others kind of blend into one behind her. Um, this is probably the most interesting song in the selection. It's not really my style of music, to be honest. That kind of soulful, jazzy type lounge singer vibe is normally the type of song in East Allow that I give a 2 out of 10 to and never listen to after the stage show. Um, but there's just something quite interesting about this. I think it has a really beautiful charm to it. Her voice is silky smooth. It brings you in. It kind of draws you in. It is inviting and alluring. Um, I think the song builds. It has that kind of James Bond-esque elements, which are a little bit cliche at this point in time, but it kind of all works. And my gut instinct says that this song's going to win the Luxembourg Song Contest. Um, I don't think it would get to the final at Eurovision without juries. I think if the juries were voting, then it would probably be clean sailing all the way to the top 10 in the final. But yeah, I think this one's got a charm. I think it's a grower, maybe not a shower. Um, and I think the more people listen to this, the more they're going to like it.
David, I'm going to hold you to that idea that this is going to win because if it does, I'm going to love you forever. Like, this is my favorite by a long stretch. And like, I absolutely think that Luxembourg should be going for something like this. For one, because it was co-written by friend of the site and teenage sensation Naomi Aye of Poupée sur Terre fame, which was my favorite last year. And two, there was no Scandinavian involvement in this song, and that is a miracle in this selection. Like, everything about this intrigue, like her voice, like as you said, that sort of soulful voice that like makes me think of like British viewers will remember Rebecca Ferguson from the X Factor and like maybe Corinne Bailey Ray or Duffy. Like there was a period like when sort of British pop music, like every woman in British pop music had that very sort of soulful voice that just really draws you in. The horn section is particularly strong in this. Like it brings to mind the sort of thing that you get on like later with Jules Holland and he'd say, "Please welcome Rhythmic Soulwave," or something like that. And it's kind of, there's like a Bond-esque melody to it. It's a very moody song. You know, there was a band that I had my eye on last year who did an interval act. They were called Shepherd Seven, and they were like a Luxembourgish, like Dobshi's Dub sort of vibe, like a bit of a ska affair. If I can't have them, this is the next best thing. But I do want to see them at some point. So if you're watching, get them on the blower.
Stronger out of 10. David.
Yeah, I think it's going to win, but that doesn't mean it's my favorite. I'm going to give it a 6.
Isaac.
4.
Joe.
Please, please give me a chance. I'm giving this a 9.
Oh, wow. I give them an extra point for my two fellow Hungarians in the team, so that brings it up to 5 for me. But that's 24 points, which puts them into third place. Laura Thorn remains in first with 29, and Rafa Ela is still second with 25. We have 2 songs left, so let's continue with Luzac and Danse. Isaac.
I feel like this is one of the hardest songs to get through, to be honest. It's it's just loud. It's very loud.
What's
And
wrong with being loud?
it's loud in an annoying way. Like I don't hate this. It is an interesting song. The arrangement isn't like anything else we've heard. I can't really compare it to any other song. I think it's unique, but in this case, that's not a good thing because it's just all I really remember about it is just the loud chorus and uh, the verses are okay. They build up quite nicely. They are interesting, but the chorus is just so, yeah, not enjoyable for me. I can see this having an appeal though. I think it will do fairly well, probably come top 3. But I don't think it would do that well at Eurovision, and I don't really want to have to listen to it again.
Ervin, you say what's wrong with being loud, but I'd like to see you mosh to this song. It's not a very moshable kind of track, is it?
Goodness.
We'll see. We'll see. I don't know. Like, this is actually my personal favorite, to be honest, and it actually reminds me a little bit of Marco Mengoni, but from his early days, of the time when he was
Where did that
like.
come from?
Have you heard Credimi Ancora, for example?
Yes, I have, and it sounds
I don't
nothing
know.
like this.
I don't know. It just made me think of that, and the song, as Isaac said as well, it's very loud, but for me, it's kind of like epic loud, and the chorus really stands out. The chorus here actually, for me, stands out most than any of the other songs. And it's just the right amount of repetitive for me, as it doesn't really get on my nerves. And whether you speak French or not, it's so easy to sing along to. It's also one of the songs that I already added to my playlist, and I definitely wouldn't mind seeing this win Luxembourg Song Contest, as I think that it would be a great entry for them. Sorry. Out of 10, Je Danse. Isaac.
Just because it's interesting, I gave it a 5.
Joe.
It's like if Thomas Joly tried to write a Eurovision entry. I've given it a 7.
This is going to be a 9 for me. David?
I want whatever you're taking, Ervin. Just I need some supply. I gave it a 5.
Oh, well, that's done well.
Yeah, 26 points for Luzac, and that puts him in second place, just behind Laura Thorn. All right, let's go for our final entry. That's Mäna with Human Eyes. Isaac.
So we've already mentioned Scandinavia a few times. This sounds like exactly the sort of thing that would have come last in Norway or Denmark 10 years ago, which isn't necessarily the worst thing. You know, there are other countries to be compared to which would probably be a lot worse. But yeah, it's quite a radio friendly track. It's I think the lyrics are terrible. They just sound again, they sound like they're written by AI. They don't have any real meaning or I don't know. I don't like the lyrics at all. And yeah, the song itself is pleasant. When it starts, it feels like it might go somewhere, it has a bit of potential, but it never really takes off. Um I do like the sort of choral element, the organ. I think that's quite nice, but it doesn't really go beyond nice. Yeah, that's about all I have to say for this one, to be honest. I think it's just kind of there.
It's the kind of song that I think Gabe Milne would describe as a nothing burger. It sits in that sort of like niche of, it's not utterly terrible, but there's nothing too discerning about it to actually make it stand out. So it just ends up fading into the background and just being particularly boring. Like the only thing that's going to elevate this is like some sort of epic staging concept, which like in that venue, I can absolutely see if somebody wanted to do like some sort of ridiculous Luca Tomasani staging, then you could absolutely do that. But like, I just can't see that. She doesn't seem like the sort of performer. I mean, she's like a music teacher who plays the flute. I think she's going to keep it simple, and maybe that's for the best. But like, it's when it was announced that Mäna was going to Luxembourg, I was like, what, Anna Mäna? Like, no, absolutely not. And frankly, we could do with something exciting. But yeah, it's the sort of ballad that falls somewhere between middle of the pack at Danse GP and Eurovision You Decide, which I think is kind of a running theme here, to be honest.
Out of 10. Isaac.
It,
Joe.
I've given this a 3, sorry.
I've given this a 5. David.
Yeah, this one's actually quite offensive to my ears. So I'm going to store it at 2, but I will eat my words and take back anything bad I've ever said about this song if she comes on that stage and emerges on a staircase from a giant eye, or something.
That's the Tomasani staging this needs.
And if she has the audacity to do that, then I will change my score to a 10. Come on, Mäna.
Come out
Give
with
us
an
the
exploding cake. Get the guy who was going to do Rhino Shaughnessy staging on the phone.
The exploding cake. I need this. The only thing that's going to save this song is to just be the biggest what the fuck levels of staging. And it's got
Absolutely.
potential. I'm seeing two, like we've had the giant trumpets for James Newman.
Oh,
Now we're going
God.
to get giant eyes. I want them to be massive.
And let's not
I'm
forget
seeing it
Rigoberta
already.
Bandini's stage prop either, which was
Oh,
also
the
giant.
The original nipple person.
Yeah. Well, with David's low score, Mäna ends up in last place with 16 points, or with his high score of 10, she would end up fourth. The combined favorite of the four of us is Laura Thorn with 29 points. Luzac is second with 26, and Rafa Ela is third with 25. Who are you guys looking forward to seeing the most on the Luxembourg Song Contest stage? David, apart from Mäna, anyone else?
Yeah. Mäna, I'm holding out for your staging, right? No, I think Laura Thorn is probably the only one that I'm really excited to see, and I hope it comes together well. And Rhythmic Soulwave from a more I think it could pique my interest. So those two, I'd say.
Yeah, I mean, at a national selection, only one song is going to get picked at the end of the day. And as long as they go with Laura Thorn, that's the one I'm excited for. I think Luxembourg will do well.
Yeah, as much as it pains me to say, because I love Rhythmic Soulwave, I do think that Laura Thorn would probably be the best one to go for if they want to do well at Eurovision. But it'll be interesting to see how they get across the sort of the message of the sort of like the sort of the connection to poupée de cire, poupée de son, like in the performance, because like if you're performing, if this is going to Eurovision and like people either don't speak French or they don't remember the song, like how on the nose do they make it? I think that's going to be really interesting, like the connection that they have to the previous song. But I'm just here for anyone who just wants to get one over on Serge Gainsbourg. I've been trying it for years.
I mean, I'm sure that like all of these acts are going to have great performances because they're probably going to work a whole bunch on each of the 7 acts. So I'm pretty sure they're all going to come up with something great, but I'm still most looking forward to seeing Luzac and One Last Time. Thank you all for watching. Let us know down in the comment section below whether you agree, whether you disagree with any of our thoughts and opinions, and let us know who your personal favorites are and who you're most looking forward to seeing in Luxembourg Song Contest. Subscribe to our channel to be up to date with all of our upcoming interviews with national final artists, more review videos like this, and some other material that we have prepared for you for the upcoming Eurovision season. Thanks, Joe. Thanks, Isaac and David, for joining me. And we're going to see all of you very soon with our next video. Bye, everyone.
You see.
Goedenavond.
What he said.